going to talk a little bit more in more depth about NOCN and what we're trying to do to support the industry and support our learners with providing new green skills from an NOCN wider point of view. Following me, my colleague Jonathan is going to go into a bit more detail about some of the qualifications and courses that we have. And Warren is going to go into further detail about our retrofit qualification. So I think what we'll be able to see is that narrowing down. My role is product manager for construction, green and engineering. I think we feel the three are intrinsically linked. If you look at Graham's presentation, construction is going to be at the heart of change with green, as is high-tech manufacturing. And we're seeing those links more and more already about the move to off-site construction. We're moving construction into factories to reduce waste, to improve quality, to reduce handling, and those are going to mean that there are less of those activities on site that are perhaps less environmentally friendly and wasteful. So I'm just going to talk a little bit further about NOCN and where we are and why we're doing this. So obviously, putting green skills in context, as I say, this is about taking that wider macro view that Graham's just given you, the governmental point of view, the UN point of view, and taking that into the world of NOCN and what we're trying to achieve there. And what we're trying to do from an aims point of view, our commitments to do this and why to work with us and how to become a centre, etc. So just to give you that wider overview of NOCN. So we've looked at this quite carefully to try and come up with a plan to say how are we going to address this. One of the areas that we're certainly aware of is there's an awful lot of talk about green, as Graham said, but what we haven't seen really until now is a great amount of detail beyond that on how we're actually going to upskill and train people. And I think that's going to be an ongoing journey for all of us. There are snippets and small amounts of qualifications, but in the wider world, I don't think we're really focused on embedding it into everything. The key to us achieving those aims is going to be that high quality. It's a reputation that NOCN has, and we're very proud of that, that we offer quality qualifications and ensure that those are delivered in a verifiable and high quality manner. And we're going to need that flexibility. Things are going to change quite quickly. This is a very fast moving market. I think it's likely to be product led in a lot of cases. So therefore, we're going to need to be able to flex and move quickly to ensure that we can beat this. Obviously, as an organisation, we are dedicated. The power of education is important. NOCN was created in order to make sure that people have the best chances to get into work, to upskill, and to get careers, growing careers. And I think that can be done certainly through the green agenda. Jobs are going to change quite significantly. Some of those older roles will disappear, but there will be lots of opportunities for young people as well as adults to move into green careers that will provide them with lifelong useful occupations. We've got a team focused on green skills, so I'm part of that. Jonathan as well as his product developers. We're really keen on making sure that we can focus on those skills that are needed as we move to that net zero. As I say, I think that's not really been fully defined as yet. We've been waiting to see where government policy is going to go. But I think we're starting to get an idea of certainly where we can make a difference on an immediate basis and start introducing those skills that will be required for the new world. And we offer learners across all age groups that training. I think it's important to think that we need to embed these skills and the learning from a very young age, 14, 15 onwards, make sure that's put into the qualifications that we offer at that level. Moving on to those college FE type qualifications and into the world of adults, people are going to need to retrain. As I say, those jobs, some of those old jobs are going to disappear. We're not going to be filling houses full of gas within the next sort of 20 or 30 years. So what's the skill set that people are going to need to do? So we're going to be thinking right across that broad range to make sure that cradle to grave operation with us, that adults can retrain, that young people can get the skills they need to get a career. From our own point of view, we certainly feel that we need to talk the talk as well. We have a very strong environmental and sustainability policy. We want to look at our impact on the planet. As NOCN, We're not a manufacturer, we're not a construction company, but we do employ a considerable number of people, and we need to make sure that we are, reducing our own waste and making sure that we're having as light a touch on it. But by doing that, we're going to focus on those green skills, embed them into everything that we've got. We're starting to sort of look at how we can further minimise our waste. We can offer e-certs across the range, and in fact, SiteRight courses will be moving to e-certs within the near future to ensure that we're not wasting time on transportation, on paper, on postage, on all of those things that have an environmental and cost impact to everybody. We're very fortunate to have a couple of very modern corporate offices. Our head office in Sheffield is a recent build, and it's opposite the station there. Got a fantastic BREEAM rating, 71% plus is excellent. So therefore, we're aware of the impact there. And our Norfolk office was also built to a high green spec with a green roof. It's got ventilation systems, and it's very well insulated. And that will have an impact not only on the environment, but also on our costs going forward. And I think that's really important to mention. This is a win for us all. So environmentally being better means that actually you reduce your costs as well. So there is a corporate and business incentive to do these things. So we will continue to work on that as we get through with things like paper waste, and ensuring our offices that are environmentally as fit as possible. We'll think about things like transport. How much are we moving people around? All of those things where we can reduce waste. Well, NOCN, as I say, we are very aware that all of our products will be affected by the sustainability agenda. There's lots of different ways in which we can support with this. Firstly, we influence, as you'll have seen from Graham's presentation, we work with an awful lot of people to make sure that we are up to date with the latest policy decisions, and that we can influence as much as possible to ensure that their agenda matches that of industry, of regional influence, as well as educators. It needs to be deliverable. What we want to do is make sure that anything that we're doing can actually be put into context and passed on to those learners and give them those skills. We do specialise, as I've talked about my own role with construction and manufacturing and engineering. Those green skills will be absolutely key to that. We've got a very strong presence in the construction sector, which is only going to see greater and greater requirements to reduce its own carbon footprint and to look at the impact of climate change. We're going to need to think about, when we build new houses, where are we building them? How are they going to be built to ensure that they're flood proof, or that they're well insulated? And the industry will need to change in order to reflect that. And we will work with industry as well as policy providers to make sure that our construction qualifications meet those requirements, that our short courses meet those requirements. And then linking into the world of engineering, etc. For example, more and more off-site manufacturing, more wind manufacturing. As Graham mentioned, tidal, that could be a huge amount of work for people, and it's going to require new skill sets. So we need to make sure that we are focused on those areas. And it's important that we do that in a customer-friendly manner. So we want to be easy to work with. So we want to work with colleges, we want to work with employers to make sure that we're delivering those required things, and that our learners have the best opportunity to get those qualifications in the right environment, using the right materials, and that we're not increasing waste by doing that. So that's where we're coming from, a wider NOCN point of view. We're already partnering with a number of organisations and sectors. There's a whole list there that I won't read out right now, but people such as the Insulation Assurance Authority. We've recently launched a course that Jonathan will talk about. We're involved in the City of London's work to ensure that the city is a much more environmentally and sustainable place, as well as Welsh authorities, Scottish authorities and English authorities. So across the nations, we want to ensure that we're working with government and regional government policy to make sure that we're providing courses that can be used, that are funded, that are relevant, and that continue to keep that high quality that we've come to base our reputation on. A recent development with AELP that we'll be working with them to very closely support their green agenda across the learning provider network. So it's about making sure that we partner with people at all levels, from government, employers, to regional government, to local government, other influencers and trade bodies. As part of that, it's going to be really key to us making sure that we bring the right people together. I want to set up some focus groups across different trade areas. I think that's really useful for us to do, to get the viewpoint of a number of people, rather than us focusing on one particular industry or person. What we want to do is pull those influences together. So we want that representation at regional level. We definitely need to know what the employers are looking for. They're the people that are going to be providing jobs in the future, and we need to understand exactly what skills, what kind of people they need, how they can, what content they need to be taught, and how that can be translated into a work environment. And also our providers, because ultimately our providers are those that have to deliver these qualifications and courses. So we need to make sure that they're absolutely deliverable, that the learners get the best experience they can. So we'll be pulling those groups together in the very near future. And we need those sector experts. So if you'd like to get involved, I'd really welcome an email from you. Please get in touch. And what we'll do is we'll start putting those groups together, and we can do that virtually. We don't need to make everybody travel all over the country and waste lots of diesel and do it that way. What we'll be doing is making sure, though, that we pull those people together so that we can pick the right products, and Jonathan and his team can get those products created and made available to you, so that you can offer those learners and get people into those jobs, which are going to be coming very, very quickly now. From a new centre point of view, it's very easy. If you go to our website, I think it's worth having a look at our website. We have a green page on the website. Please go there, and it's got a button that you can click on to say how to become a centre. One of our team then can get in touch with you to talk you through the processes and to make sure that you're in a position to do it, and everything that we need from you. And of course, let's not forget our existing centres. If you need to add those qualifications and courses in that you hear today, you'll be able to do that through the same site. So that's pretty much it from me. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.